Hey, this is Parker. Today I'm in beautiful downtown Decatur, Georgia. Decatur is located about 6 miles east of downtown Atlanta. It's a great city. If you've ever been to Asheville or Austin, it's got that same kind of vibe. Great urban feel, tons of great restaurants, beautiful houses. We're going to give you the pros and cons of living in Decatur, Georgia. Let's get started. Let's take a quick look at the map to get our bearing. In the center, you'll see the city of Atlanta. The red ring is I-285, also known as the perimeter. And there is the city of Decatur on the east side of Atlanta. Okay, so Decatur is home to about 26,000 people. It's a very young population. About 72% of the people are under 55 years of age. Decatur also has one of the highest education levels in Metro Atlanta. Something like 50% of the people have a college degree. Decatur is a small town with a classic town square layout. In some sense, it feels like a college campus. All of the shops and restaurants surround this open-air plaza that hosts artists and musicians and dogs and families all year long in Atlanta's terrific climate. The DeKalb County Courthouse and municipal buildings are close to the square as well, and that brings a lot of people and keeps the downtown Decatur restaurants very busy. If you like the content we're putting out here on this channel, please like or subscribe or comment. It really helps us. Thanks a lot. So now that we've established the charms of the downtown square, we can get to pro number one. If you love classic American architecture, Decatur is the place for you. The city of Decatur has some of the most beautiful and historically significant houses and neighborhoods you'll find anywhere in Atlanta. Most of the houses date from the 1910s to the 1940s, although there are some new build homes sprinkled in which are fairly tightly controlled by the Historic Preservation Committee. The most common style you'll find is the Craftsman Bungalow, which is a small home with a large front porch, what we in Georgia call a rocking chair front porch. These front porch bungalows are so common that Decatur hosts an annual festival called Porch Fest, which in 2019 featured almost 200 live bands performing throughout the neighborhoods on people's front porches. Now, I love Decatur, and I've lived in and around the city for 25 years now, but I want to give you the straight scoop, so let's go ahead and get to con number one. It is expensive to live in Decatur. Decatur is a pretty small geographic area. It's only 4 square miles, and it's in very high demand, which causes the prices of homes within the city to be much higher than the Atlanta average. In 2020, the average home sale price in Decatur was over $650,000. And July of 2020 hit an eye-popping $756,000. That is the average sale price. When people start looking at moving to Decatur, they have a little reality check there when you find out that the average per square foot price is around $350. Compare that to North Decatur, which is outside of the city limits, and the average per square foot there is typically around $200 per square foot. Now, this isn't to frighten you. If the city of Decatur is what you want, you can still find some fantastic houses, under $500,000. These are going to be smaller houses, though. These are going to be more around 1,600 square feet. So you just have to prepare yourself. Decatur, if it's what you want, it's expensive to live there. Of course, if you're moving from New York or California and you see these prices and these houses, you're like, sweet. So what's pro number two? Pro number two is the schools. City of Decatur has some of the best schools, not just in the Atlanta area, but in the entire state of Georgia. Every year, City of Decatur ranks in the top 10 districts in Georgia for SAT performance. It's a small school system. There's just one high school, one middle school, and 7 elementary schools for about 5,700 students. Residents in Decatur generally have professional careers and are heavily involved in the children's schools, so there's a lot of parental involvement. Many people moved to Decatur specifically for the schools. At one point, people were renting apartments and paying rent just so their kids could attend Decatur schools, even though they never lived there. Decatur had to crack down on that. So for every pro, there's a con, right? Pro number two was the great schools. Con number two is property taxes. Decatur has some sky-high property taxes. Not only are the houses more expensive to purchase, but the property taxes are sometimes double what you would pay in unincorporated DeKalb just outside of the city limits. One of my next videos will be comparing property taxes between city of Decatur and unincorporated DeKalb, what we call North Decatur. So if you're interested in moving to Atlanta, you're thinking of moving to Atlanta, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when I drop that video. Now, to be fair on property taxes, that's the price you pay for having a great school system. Your average private school in Atlanta costs around $700 per month and up. So if you've got 2 or 3 kids, the expense of the property taxes and the education you get from it very easily justifies itself. And of course, if you can afford to buy a house in the city of Decatur, you can probably afford the property taxes. So pro number 3 for the city of Decatur is the incredible selection of great restaurants and independent stores in the city. Decatur is really a buy local community. One of the great things about it is this broad selection of fantastic locally owned restaurants, clothing stores, art galleries, boutiques, and even bookstores. You won't really find any chains in downtown Decatur. There are 2 exceptions to that. One is the Starbucks. Obviously, there's a Starbucks on every corner in America. And number 2 is Chick-fil-A, which is actually locally owned, so we'll let them slide. Decatur also has an incredible music scene. During the warm months, there's concerts on the square literally every weekend. There's also a terrific music venue called Eddie's Attic. They've hosted the Indigo Girls, the Black Crowes, John Mayer, Sugarland. And this year they're celebrating their 30th anniversary, so go Eddie's Attic. And finally, we arrive at con number 3. Decatur is somewhat isolated from the rest of Atlanta due to its location. It's not near any major highways. It's not near 75 or 85. It's a little far away from 285. So if you're looking to get around Atlanta, Decatur can oftentimes add 15 minutes to your drive. But it's not all bad. If you work downtown, it's an easy shot down DeKalb Avenue. And if you work at Emory or the CDC, that's only 2 miles away. So the main thing to remember is that in Atlanta, the traffic is really bad. So the closer you live to work, the less time you spend in the car, and the happier you'll be. I promise. So that's Decatur, Georgia. I hope you found that helpful. Again, Decatur's a great city. Some of the best, most beautiful houses anywhere in Atlanta. Endless selection of restaurants, great schools, a terrific community, just all the way around. That's the pros. Again, if you want to live here, it's expensive, and that's probably the biggest con to living in Decatur, Georgia. I hope you found that helpful. Feel free to give me a call anytime, and I'd love to help.